Hello everyone, this is Brett with Azeroth Rediscovering. Over there we have Jess.
Hello.
What up, Jess?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing?
Oh, nothing.
Oh,
I'm perusing Etsy, to be honest with you, Brett.
oh,
I
Etsy, that sounds...
I have discovered
sounds...
something I'm really interested in on Etsy.
World of Warcraft stuff on Etsy?
No. It's
Well,
beanies. Crocheted beanies with holes for your bun.
oh.
I'm
I have
really
a...
into this.
What if you don't have a bun?
Then you don't want to buy a beanie with a bun hole.
A bun... a bun hole?
I searched bun beanies.
You should definitely search bun hole.
I don't want to do that.
Well, that's fine.
I don't know, man. I looked at them earlier, first thing this morning while I was at work, and I went immediately to Michael's Crafts after work and bought yarn and some crochet needles because I'm going to learn how to make them because they're super cute and people sell them for a lot of money. So I have a new career path.
So while we're recording this, you will have to live up to this because people will be expecting them. Because this is all recorded. This is public document data.
This is like a declaration that I'm gonna make bun beanies.
I mean, kind of like it's a pretty big commitment that you said it on a recording.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it. So far, I've got a crocheted piece of material about the size of a Band-Aid.
That'll keep you warm.
Making progress.
If you get a boo-boo, scraped knee.
How was your day at work today?
We had a lot of food. We had a lot of donuts, and there were 4 dozen donuts and like 4 boxes of donut holes from Dunkin' Donuts, and there was icing and pretzels.
Just icing?
And marshmallows, yeah. So there were the donuts as mentioned, and then there were pretzels, and then there was vanilla, 2 different vanilla icings, and then a chocolate icing, and then there were pretzels and marshmallows. And I'm like, I was wondering, like, am I supposed to, like, what concoction am I supposed to make with these 3 other things that obviously don't go with the donuts? So I was thinking, so what I ended up doing was there was a knife in each one of the frostings, and I took the knife out and had just a tiny bit of chocolate, and I just kind of scraped the chocolate off with a pretzel stick, like a little pretzel stick, and then I just ate the pretzel stick. And
with chocolate icing?
Yes.
That's I think
was that the intention?
There's a market for chocolate covered pretzels. I don't think you're the first one that's ever put chocolate on a pretzel.
Well, no, like obviously flips, you know. But no, I don't know. I just wasn't really. I didn't know what to do with the stuff.
I think you did what you were supposed to do with it. I think that the person who brought icing and pretzels intended for them to be used together.
Oh, well, then that works out perfectly.
There you go.
So this podcast is not about work or pretzels or donuts or bun holes.
Wow.
But it might have a couple bun holes in it. But this quest is about World of Warcraft, and
This quest is about World of Warcraft?
Yeah, this pod quest. This podcast is about World of Warcraft.
Quests.
Yeah, quests mostly. Because it'd be kind of spoiled if we just did nothing but instances, even though that is very much the most efficient way to level.
Yeah.
We might do that some other time, though. We've discussed that. Future plans.
We have a lot of future plans for the podcast.
Yeah.
We got some stuff going on. We're not going to tell you about it now, though.
Right. Because if we say something and then it doesn't work, it's like, well, good thing we didn't say it. Unlike Jess when she described her bun holes that she's going to make, now she has to do it.
Yeah. But, dude, you know what? These people are paying like $30, $35 on Etsy for this. And the yarn, I bought a $5 roll of yarn today So that is like maximum profit
That's pretty good.
for
But that's a
just my
lot.
time.
That's a lot of work.
You know, I was watching these YouTube videos and they're like, I did this just do this for about 20 minutes and then your headband's done. I'm like, you crocheted a headband in 20 minutes?
Oh, that's pretty good profit
Yeah.
right there.
I
That's
think
like,
that they just really know what they're doing. I have to get a lot better.
yeah, you'll get there because you've recorded it, so now you have to.
Eh,
Anyway, let's. I tried to segue into World of Warcraft,
but
but
you brought up the bun holes in my
I
commitment.
did, and I was
It's your
just
fault.
I was shut down. So today, what level did we get to last time? You know what? I don't remember,
I remember.
but do you remember for sure, or are you just saying that to sound like you know what's going on?
I am 90. Well, Brad, how often do I misremember things?
It's not often.
All right. I'm going to say we were level 47.
That
I mean 57.
okay. No, you're right. 47.
Yeah, 47. When we went to
but
Searing Gorge, right?
yes, we
Yeah.
had left. We had left. I think Eastern Plaguelands, and so we were headed to Searing Gorge. Yeah, and we told you about the trip that we took up to Searing Gorge, where we ran into some Alliance towns. We saw Stormwind City. We didn't go in it, but we saw some guards that killed us. We saw some level, what I assume are 110s. You know, you can't see the level if they're over 10 levels above you, I think. So they just appear as question marks because you don't know what they are. You're too much of a noob to identify them. So yeah, we got ganked a couple times. Anyway, we made it to Searing Gorge, and if you guys have been to Searing Gorge, I kept getting Searing Gorge and Burning Steps confused. They're both, I know they're both like fiery, molten places, and in my head, they're like the same place, which is kind of ironic because you go to one and then the other, so it's not really like, it's very easy for them to kind of blend into one, but one's on the north side of Blackrock Mountain, which is Searing Gorge, which is the lower level one, and then the Burning Steps is the south side of Searing Gorge, or the south side. Well, it is south of Searing Gorge, but it's the south side of Blackrock Mountain. So, once, as always, I have this description pulled up from the internet. I did not come up with this on my own. So, Searing Gorge is a fiery and rocky zone home to a friendly subset of Dark Iron Clan, the Thorium Brotherhood. Man, I can't even talk today. The inhospitable environment is due to the summoning of Ragnaros. Currently, large mining operations take place in the Cauldron and Slag Pit. Players also get to interact with quirky NPCs like Lunk. We're going to talk about Lunk,
So
the
which
non-violent Lunk, the Lunk Alarm, the non-violent Ogre, and Ebonice Soot Smoker, who believes in murder through sleep deprivation. Spoiler, unfortunately, we're not going to talk about that person. We didn't get to that person. You know why we didn't get to that person? Because you level so damn quickly. So you can't get to all the quests. You can, but it'd be a waste of time in the sense of being efficient. I want to be able to bring you guys leveling World of Warcraft entertainment while also being efficient with the use of my time and Jess's time. So Lunk, we met Lunk over, he's in that, let's see, he's on the east side of the Thorium Advance, I believe is where you first meet him.
I think you're right.
Yep, so he's over there with a couple other people giving out quests. Jess, do you know what quest? Do you want to start talking about some of Lunk's quests? He's got a few.
Lunk had 3, maybe 4 quests that we did. I'm not going to probably correctly remember the order, but there was one, I think it was called Lunk's Adventure Spider Rider. Was that one?
Yep.
We, Spider Rider. So, I think Lunk had the idea behind Lunk was that most of the quests that we had from him, we he didn't want us to actually kill the things. He wanted us to weaken them for him to do whatever it was. So the spiders, he wanted us to hit them a little bit, and then he would jump on them and ride them around, and then I'd go like attack another one, and he'd run over and get on it and ride it around. It was pretty silly, but it actually, I think it took us a couple times. Like, the spiders are so easy to kill that, like, we killed them before we would, and then he would be mad. Lunk would yell at us, not yell, but
yeah,
he'd say, "Why'd you have to kill him for?" Like, he would be all goofy.
And you're not used to not trying to kill something, so your initial reaction is, you know, spam your like 4 spells that you use or whatever,
Right.
and then the mob's dead. Well, you have to kind of hold off on that, because I killed many that I didn't mean to, and as with it's kind of funny. I'm on Wowhead and I'm reading some of the comments, and they're talking about them being this high level character. So one guy's talking about being level 90, another guy's talking about being level 80 and trying to do this quest. I'm not really sure why, unless he's just trying to go for achievements or, you know, just maybe for fun, whatever. But they're talking about how they had to take all their gear off so that they could attack these mobs without killing them
in one shot.
Yeah, in one shot. So like that's something I didn't even think about. This guy, I guess his name is Fosh. Some commenter says, I had to take all my gear off at level 80 to weaken the spiders without killing them outright. So I ended up naked in the middle of Searing Gorge, punching spiders so a pacifist ogre could jump on their backs and ride them around while yelling. Quite the surreal experience, D.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
That sounds really funny when he kind of describes it like that. So, so that was Spider Rider. And
then there was another one. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Lunk kind of follows you around. It's like when you're not attacking the things that he needs you to be attacking, he disappears. And then when you start attacking them, he kind of reappears just out of nowhere.
And he's super, like, he's really big. He's big green ogre. I think he's green. And he just was super in the way all the time. I was pretty annoyed with Lunk. I think we did, like I said, like 3 or 4 quests, and he just kept being in my way, this big fat thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he looks like a typical ogre. There might be some green ones. He's just kind of like he's like a European, just white person ogre from the screenshot here.
Oh, well, I was wrong. He was in my way, whatever he was.
Yeah, I'm always curious, like why. Like, I don't really understand how he's in your way, because you can like kind of go through mobs, and unless he's standing in your like viewing
and
angle.
He would be. He would stand right where I was trying to focus my attention, and he would just like, I'd move, and he would scoot over and move too, and it's like, you damn.
Are you? So as you're when are both hands on the keyboard?
Yeah, Brett, because that's how you play WoW. Remember,
okay.
we've been over this.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if you have it on the mouse, you can just left click and turn the camera just a little bit, and that would.
I have found, I know you're gonna think I'm silly, it makes me really dizzy to mess with the left click button while I'm moving in WoW. It really disorients me, especially later on.
Okay.
I've noticed that it messes when I'm swimming. It really messes with me when I'm trying to move and I change my, like, I can go in and out and up and down and that's fine, but when I like kind of turn, like, I don't know, I don't like that.
Okay.
But yeah, he didn't disrupt my gameplay, but he was just constantly in the way, and that's what I'm saying.
All right.
The next thing, or maybe not the next, I don't remember the order, but there was also another one called Cranky Little Dwarves. Cranky Little Dwarfs.
You got it.
And that was another one where he wanted us to go fight a dwarf and not kill it, and just fight it until it got sleepy, and then he would help. It says that he would help the dwarf fall asleep. I don't know why that was happening, but again, it was just super weird that we were like, because I remember I hit it like twice and it died, and it's like, it was just really, it was very strange to me at this level to have quests where I don't kill something when it's so easy to kill them.
Yeah, it was hard, like I mentioned earlier, just to not go all out and, throw a shadow word death when they're at less than, 10%. That's kind of like the priest's execute. So it deals a lot of damage, but it can only be done on enemies that are less than 10%. And I often did that, and I would kill stuff when I didn't mean to. So I think Lunk at least has 2 more quests. We didn't get to all of them. So the next one we have is Lunk's Task, which is, this may have actually been the first one in this whole quest chain, but this you had to pick up tempered flywheels off of the tempered war golems. And this one wasn't too bad because I think they dropped between 2 and 4 a piece.
Right.
I can remember them dropping multiple ones. So I can remember I don't know what you had to AFK for something, and I remember you had me on follow, and I was killing these as you were just partying or whatever you do when you go AFK from WoW.
I don't remember what I had to do, but yeah. I do remember being like, I came back and there was just a whole big ground of sparkle things that I got to run around and loot because you did I don't know what I was doing. I have no idea. I can't remember.
Yep, not a problem. And then Lunk, I was kind of sad as I was kind of researching this before the show. I found that there was another quest for Lunk, and it was to form a 3-dwarf long conga line. I don't know in what context that was necessary to do, but I'm kind of sad that we skipped that one because that one sounds pretty cute. Let's see. I think
that was it. I don't think we did any other of the Lunk quests.
Yeah, no, I think that was it for Lunk. We had a couple others we were going to touch on. Searing Gorge didn't have, again, when you level so quickly, it's hard to touch on all the quests, and that's why last episode we tried to speed up and catch up to where we are. That way it's fresher in our head. So when we go to record, it is something that we know about. We can speak better on it rather than trying to remember from weeks ago. So Thorium Point was another quest area that we could do. And we had a quest, and that was the Heat, that just don't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had to fill up the furnace flasks. So these were like the fire. There were fire elementals, and then there were a couple other elementals you could use too, but it really doesn't matter. I think there was like flame elemental, and then there was also fire elemental. I could be wrong on those names, but
yeah, I don't think you are, because there were 2 very similar ones that we had to find. It was magma elementals and inferno elementals.
Right. Looks like the blazing elementals work as well, but we couldn't do the same target, which was kind of annoying. So you would use the item on them, you would target them, then use the item on, and then they would shrink. And Jess and I are questing together, so when we get these quests where we each have to do something and the progress isn't shared, it's just kind of a slight inconvenience.
Yeah, especially because I notice it a lot when when whatever it is goes away, and then the other one of us has to wait for it to I know these were around, but we had to go find them because there weren't enough for both of us to kill 10.
Yeah, they would only spawn in these little kind of fire pools that were around. There would be maybe 3 of them in a pool, and then you'd have to run, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds to the north or something, and then find another little pool of 3 or 4 or something like that. So I think we kind of split up for this one, and we ended up getting them all along the west side of Searing Gorge.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't particularly enjoy that quest.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was anything. Like, there have been ones that were more fun to me.
Right, right.
What's the next quest we did?
Also up at Thorium Point, we had to a quest to kill Rasha Croc or Rasha Crack. This just looked like he looked like one of the elementals, but he was just kind of a named elemental.
Right.
So it was very basic. We just had to go up to him. I think he was a quest mob. So the quest mobs tend to have like twice the amount of HP, or maybe even 3 times the amount of HP, but they don't hit any harder. So I think that was like I feel like in vanilla WoW, this would have been a group quest where you either need to have a group of 2 or possibly have a character that, or a class that is good, that can solo a lot of stuff. I haven't really talked to you about that, but certain classes could, it might say a group quest that requires 2 people. Well, certain classes could solo things better than other classes. Because say like a hunter, if he had like a tanking pet, he could heal his pet. His pet could take all the damage while he's dealing a bunch of damage. His pet's doing a little bit of damage, and he can pretty much go all out and just keep his pet healed. And it was often like the pet classes, like the hunter and the warlock, that could like often solo things that required a group of 2 or sometimes even 3 if you were good enough. And that also comes down to like skill with how well you know the class and what to use when. But I feel like this guy would have been like a two person, elite mob, but they've kind of removed those as far as I can tell. I haven't come across pretty much any elite mobs out in the world of Warcraft. Then we're going to talk on one more on the Burning Steppes, which is Dig Boss. Nope. I've messed this up every time I've tried to say it. Dig Boss Den Whisker, and he is like he's the boss of a group of dwarves that are mining down in the looks like they're down in whatever that pit is in the middle there. So you got to kill him and obtain his Dark Ember. So this one was kind of weird because you just had to keep killing dwarves in the pit. And I remember I happened to have the Lunk quest while I was doing this, and he seemed to get upset that I was killing. But I'm like, dude, I'm not even doing your quest. Like, leave me alone. Like,
he didn't want us to kill anything. And I remember that too. Like, we had another quest we were working on, and he just showed up and started whining at us, and that annoyed me. I didn't like that. I liked the Lunk quests, but I didn't like him being around when I was trying to do other stuff.
Yeah. So as far as the Burning Quest, as far as Searing Gorge, that's gonna wrap it up for Searing Gorge. Then we headed down. So I was kind of excited to take you through Blackrock Mountain, even though I think we already went through Blackrock Mountain getting up to it, but we had to come back down. And when you go, Blackrock Mountain is at the south of the Searing Gorge. And you go up and then you're kind of going into a mountain, and it's really big. I think it looks really cool. And you go in and you kind of go up this curved... I don't even know what to call it, but it's this curved path on the side, and then you see a big chain. And I remember telling you, like, down there is where Molten Core is, or was. I think it still is, but there's a lot of, like, I can remember being dead, or like our whole party wiping, and then you res at the graveyard outside. I think you res in Burning Steppes, or maybe it's Searing Gorge you res in, and then you run back up, and then you run down the chain all the way back into the instance. So that was cool for me seeing that. Like, seeing that inside of Blackrock Mountain is really nostalgic for me.
Right.
So the Burning Steppes is the area just below of Blackrock Mountain, as we talked about before. It is a little bit higher level. So I think we stayed in Searing Gorge till we were probably, I'm gonna say 52 maybe. And then Searing Gorge, I believe, or I'm sorry, man, I keep getting these messed up. Burning Steps starts at 52. So in Burning Steps, we did have. I'll let you talk about this one because I think you liked it a lot.
Oh, yeah. So in Steps, we always say steppies when we're like we said steppies the whole time we were playing just to be silly, and now it's in my head that that's what it's called. But we had Brett. I don't know how to say this name.
Is this the?
This is the costume one.
Theleron Dire Needle?
Yeah. Theleron Dire Needle. So we had to go.
And was that at? Let's see, where were we questing? Was that at Chisel Grip? Is that where we were questing? I think that's right. That was just kind of a little camp that didn't really have much. Like, I don't even know. I think it took us a while to even find someone to like sell our goods to.
Right, it did, and we were walking around, and I was like, I just kept saying, Brett, I can't do anything because my bags are full. We have pretty big, I have a pretty big bag at this point, and I had no room for anything. But anyway, we went and we saw this little person.
They prefer to be called dwarfs.
Sorry. The quest was called A Perfect Costume, and it was there was the what's her name?
Theleron.
Theleron.
Or probably
Theleron's
Theleron.
fine. Theleron was sitting under this little tent, and right beside her was a table, and the table had items on it, and you got a quest from her to get. She wanted you to create a costume for her. And you had to go over and you had to use there was mud. There were three supplies. And it was like mud, cloth, and yarn. Thread.
Yeah, something like that.
Excuse me. And you could get 1 to 5 of each of those things. You could get 1 to 5 thread, 1 to 5 dabs of mud. And then
hides.
Hides,
is what it was, yeah.
And like you would walk up and you'd be like, all right, give me 2 hides, 2 muds, 2 threads. And you'd walk over and she'd be like, well, this is way too much. And you'd go over and you'd be like, all right. Like, you had to create this concoction. And the only way to do it was just by trial and error, walking over, getting rid of a thread, and going back. And I liked doing that.
Yeah, he would say, so
is it
he
a
would
boy? I thought it was a girl.
Yeah, it's a black dwarf. Well, he's like gray.
Okay.
So he would say these are way too many hides, or these are not enough hides, or this is way too much mud. So you would have to you could get 1 through 4 of each item. So you would have to like just remember like, okay, I need 1 less hide, 2 more mud, or more muds. I don't know if it's 2 more muds or 3 more muds or however many, and then X amount of threads as well. And it was all based on your race.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you were large, like if you were like a Janai, you would need 4 hides. Or if you were human or a gnome, you only need 1 hide. It's kind of based on there, but you can look it up. Like, it's the cheat sheets right here in front of me.
Yeah, it was
popped
really,
up on the comments.
I'm glad we didn't look it up, though, because it was really fun. Like, I liked to do that. Again, I really enjoy the things I figure out before you, and I figured this out before you, so it automatically is up there with the cool things I do in WoW, because I enjoy... Like, it's my little glimmer of hope that I'm not stupid, is that I can accomplish something before you do. And this I did. And I liked that.
So this quest was to make a was to make a Smolder Thorn troll disguise, which is very funny because we are Smolder Thorn trolls. So it as far as I know, it doesn't matter. Like I'm looking at this screenshot here of, it looks like a gnome with looks like a goblin mask on. So the gnome is kind of equivalent to the goblin, and as far as size goes. So I would imagine like the Draenei would dress up like Tauren if you were Alliance and Horde. But we are trolls, and we are on the Smolderthorn server. So it was kind of funny because it was like Smolderthorn troll disguise, and it's like we're already Smolderthorn trolls.
And that mask looked nothing like us.
Mine looked dead on. I think your hair color was different, but my hair color was the same. And it's funny because they make it like a really flat image of like a face, and it looks pretty bad. Like no one would actually ever be fooled by it, but I think it's supposed to be goofy like that. So you needed that troll disguise to get up to do a quest, I believe, called Fields of Honor, which was you had to go up and kill these. There were orcs. You had to use this disguise, and you didn't have to kill them yet, but these orcs were all friendly if you went up there with a mask on, and you could get into the building that was near them, and you could talk to some people. When we first approached this area, Jess, you said, what did you think that I thought we were approaching a garden. Yes, she thought we were approaching a garden.
And I was like, what? I said, are you up? Because he was a little bit ahead of me, and I was like, are you up next to that garden? And he said, what? And I was like, this garden, you're like, it's like pumpkins and green beans, you're in a garden. And he's like, what are you talking about? And like, to me, like, it was an army of people in formation, and they had alternating rows of uniform, and they were green and orange, and I thought from back where I was and how they were perfectly lined up in formation, it looked like a garden to me. I don't think I'm wrong.
I could totally see that.
It's just so funny how I perceive things like so differently than what I should be. Like, I really thought I thought there was a garden in the middle of this very lava-esque, burning grounds that were in the middle of all of this, where there's no water anywhere. There's a garden of pumpkins and green beans, and that made sense to me. That's where you were standing.
Well, I mean, it's World of Warcraft, so there's not a whole lot of logic in there. So while we were up there, we went inside, we did a couple quests. None were really noteworthy. As we came out, though, I said they were all, by this time, we're probably level 55, and they are 52. And so we do one quest where we have to still stay friendly, keep the mask on, the disguise on, and go up and hit these. We have to hit some of the army with a cudgel. And after we were done, we turned that in, and we were still in that area. And I said, what happens if we take the disguise off? Do all these people turn hostile? And they do. So we took the disguise off. We weren't near anyone, but there are probably, I don't know how many mobs would you say, like 2 or 3 groups of like 25, maybe more. And I said, if you go tank, and
actually, before you get too ahead of yourself, you misremembered something.
Okay, what was that?
We thought something happened in our game because there were all of these people, and we were supposed that we had a quest item to do this one thing, and we had no character names over these people. We thought that something was glitching in our game. And then it was like, wait a second, maybe these are the people, because we couldn't get character name. You know how they hover over...
Right, there were no nameplates.
There were no nameplates, and then it dawned on us that maybe it was because they were, you know, we thought it was a glitch. We were looking at our interface settings and everything because we couldn't figure out how to find this one person because nobody had nameplates. And then we realized I took my mask off to see, I don't know what made me do that, and then everything turned red, and then I put it back on, and... Like, I wasn't moving, so I didn't bother. And I was like, oh, Brett, there's everybody's names. Like, when you take your mask off, you can tell what they are. So then, that's how that happened.
Yeah. And so we took the mask off, and we were like, let's try to clear this whole area just a little bit at a time. But I didn't know how much we could actually pull because there are probably 3 formations of, like, 25 mobs. And so I told her, I think she was going to cast Moonfire and then turn into a bear. And then I was going to try to, I'm going to forget the name of my spell. It's not Mind Flay, but it's the other one. Is it Mind Sear? It's the one that does AoE damage and it's a channeled ability. If you guys play Priest, or even if you don't, if you're WoW experts, you're probably yelling right now. It might be Mind Sear, but it does the AoE damage even though you're only targeting one person. So I did that. I instantly would pull aggro, but then I would hit fade, and then I would try to just do as much as possible. But it ended up we were pulling too many at some points, and then we would die. We would try it again, and then we would. At sometimes we could pull and just pull like half of the group, and that would be okay. We'd be able to make it through that. But I think if we tried to pull all 25, we would just die. Do you have anything that...
We didn't do this, and it would be interesting to go back. Not like go back, because that would be forever. But I wonder what would have happened if we would have put the mask back on in the middle of combat.
We probably would not be able to. It would probably say you can't use this item during combat. Because there are many items you cannot use during combat. But, yeah. Or I could have made some of that engineering dynamite and throw that on them. Remember I had that dynamite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That probably wouldn't have... Yeah, I wouldn't have done much.
Hindsight's 2020, Brett.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun, though.
Yeah, that was fun. And it's kind of fun just doing these, like, goofy things that I would never do. Like, it's kind of like I'm just doing them because Jess is here. And I'm like, oh, let's see if we can do that. Because just for whatever... Just to see if you can do it. Like, it's a video game. Just see if you can do it. And sometimes we stop and do that. Like that time we tried to like 2-man the instance, the Scarlet Monastery. That was bad.
You can't see me, but I'm shaking my head because it was awful.
Yes. Auditory nods.
This actually, we got 2 groups. 2 of the formations we ended up getting through. And then while we were working on our 3rd one, the first one respawned, remember? And that's when we were like, never mind, we can't. Yeah, we were going to try to clear the whole area out just for funsies, and that was disheartening when that happened. And then we had another quest, Kodo Caller's Horn. We had to get some Kodos to return back to the farm, so we just had to like beat up some Kodos and they'd run away. We ran into a problem here while we were doing this, though. There was a level ? Alliance Demon Hunter, and he didn't want us to kill his Kodos because it looked like he was also killing Kodos. So he would kill us. I think that only happened. Yeah, one shot. I mean, yeah. So I think he killed us. It was kind of funny because you'd be like, Brett. It would be like, Brett, look at. Oh. Okay, just look at... Okay, like, it was like before we could even warn the other one, he instantly did it.
Yes, because, they have a dash, so it's like, he could just dash to me and then dash to you and kill...
Is this where he hugged us, too? Is this...
Yeah, I think it is, and he got an achievement.
Yeah. Make love, not Warcraft.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
the South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. My guy was like, okay, I'm not mad. He killed us and gave us a hug. He was just saying hello, but then he killed us more than once, and I was like, all right, you're being a jerk.
So we also had a quest called Trial by Magma, which was to kill Lord Kolob, which I don't remember. That was just us fighting inside, I think, with that disguise on that we had talked about previously. So up by those armies that we were discussing.
Right.
Yeah, it was just to kill that Lord Kolob. Not a lot of super interesting stuff in these two places. Like I was thinking, maybe we just didn't get to the really cool stuff.
We were just leveling so quickly that we really missed out on a lot of, like, there were a lot of other things we could have done, and we just kind of decided there was no point.
Yeah. And then we already kind of talked about this, the abuse of power, the law, and the lash. That was when we had to hit I think it was the generals we had to hit with a cudgel, which is, a cudgel is just like a staff, like a stick. And that's pretty much it for the Burning Steps. Is there anything more you wanted to talk about this area?
No, that was pretty. Did you have something else?
Yeah, there was a little thing I was gonna say. Like in these past two areas, I've noticed that there's a lot to mine.
Yes, I have noticed that you've been doing that a lot too.
And there is little to skin.
Very true.
So, it's kind of been nice.
I will remember that in the future because I follow you around while you mine a lot, and you never, ever, ever wait for me to skin things. You always want to run ahead, and then you're always mining, and I'm always polite, and I wait, and then when it's my turn to skin, you're just like, nah, we gotta go do this.
Well, I don't ask you to wait for me to mine.
I don't know where to go without you. I have to follow you.
You're level 58. You should know where to go by now.
It doesn't count. I'm only level, like, it doesn't count. As far as it counts, I'm level 7 because that's what I can accomplish on my own.
Okay.
The rest of it, I just follow you around.
So, guys, we're now level 58, which that's very exciting, and I think most of you know why. If you don't know why, we'll tell you next episode. But that's all we have for today, and we'll be talking about some really cool stuff on the next episode.
All right. Looking forward to it. Bye, guys.
See ya.